Like the number one thing, and I hope like especially when it goes on YouTube, you guys can check this. A majority of the videos that come out, especially from Mushoku Tensei, are not monetized. Like all the content that is there is quite literally for like psychoeducational purposes, for people to be able to see the characters in a brand new light that like I don't know how to put it, that hasn't really been produced before, you know? I feel like oftentimes you have a lot of people that are like the constant like emoji like reactor handy individuals out there. Not throwing shade, not throwing out like throwing shots or anything at them, because that's the way that they've learned on how to, like, I guess what is acceptable for reaction terms, right? But like my main goal is like we're looking at this characters as a whole, bringing in discussion elements and being able to bring out the fact that like you know, this is a story that's being told to us. Number one, we have to take away that they are fictional characters, right? Like, you can't put yourself and project yourself into these characters or like defend a person like character's actions without it speaking something about your own inner psyche or something in you that calls for you to try and defend these characters' actions, right? Like, for me personally, as to the anime and what we've seen so far, and I'll read whatever's said afterwards. Um, as to what the anime's like, said so far, it's quite literally like, hey, this is what's happening, good or bad. Like, I'm literally throwing this at you. Like, this is something like situations and stuff that may have happened in like previous times. The definition of good and bad and moral and immoral, and this is something really really important, always changes with the number one enemy of all individuals, all countries, all everything: time, right? Time is a constant that will forever be changing the definitions of morality and whether or not we see something as good and bad. What I tend to do, my whole perspective is quite literally to go in there and be like, nowadays, like right now in this moment in time, if this individual, this character, this person, you know, came into my office as a client, how would I be able to treat them? How would I be able to see them? What mental health resources are available at this current moment in case you do project yourself into these characters that are available for you and for other people? And you're able to dissect and enjoy the characters and see their range and see their potential and see how they can totally grow. And the fact that, like, just because you're in someone else's story, in someone else's narrative, it does not mean that is who you are. Because even in Mushoku Tensei, and this might be fucking fourth wall breaking for some of you, the way that we are presented this anime, this story, is a narrative. We are being presented a show through the narrative of the director. The director is choosing their narrative, picking specific spots and areas with their team and whatnot that they want to present to us as the truth of this world, not necessarily the truth of the author, but the truth of the world that they wish for the audience to see. So always keep that in mind. Hello, YouTube. How are you guys doing? For you guys, it might be a little bit later than usual when this video comes up. We have a terrific, absolutely fantastic individuals here on Twitch with us. Know that for this particular video, I'm a little fucking toasted, so I may ramble, I may go off on more rants than usual. You've been warned. You've been absolutely warned. If you don't follow us on Twitch. That's where a majority of the videos are. And if you guys are wondering, hey, why is this guy posting all these videos on YouTube? And like, not really, like, what is his purpose? Know that like a majority, I think all the videos so far, especially after the copyright strike for 2 Year Eternity, have been completely not monetized. We do this quite literally to bring psychological aspects into anime and teach people a little bit about themselves and how they can view new characters and situations and stuff. I'll put a little snippet of what we talked about before we even started this stream. This is the first reaction. I don't read the novels, web novels, whatever's out there. I quite literally go episode by episode with people on Twitch. With that being said, why don't we go ahead and just get into it? You guys ready?
10歳のパーティーから早2年、エリス
Wait,
はあっ
so
という
you're
間に
9?
剣心流上級になってしまった。才能の差を感じるね。
Alright, guys, help me keep my math in check. Math was my worst subject in general, but first off, that means that ball has been up there for 2 fucking years. Holy fucking shit. Alright, let me go into Facecam. Do you guys know the implication of something like that? Imagine if a drone, right? Now that I'm thinking about it, like imagine if a weird ass drone-like shaped object has just been floating on top of like your town for 2 years. No explanation. Like, just there. I wonder if he even knows what the explanation is. Like, holy shit, dude. Holy crap. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm fucking terrified. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's 9 now. Yeah, because it was a 10-year birthday last episode. So that means that she's 12. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like 2 years have passed essentially since this ball has appeared. And no one questions it? Like, I'd be like, If an unknown flying object appeared right above your town and was just stationary, what would you do? Would you find it as a source of salvation? Or would you find it as a source of doom? Would you find yourself thinking that this thing that is unknown for you, or maybe they do know what it is? I'm just rambling. Give me a second. Let me ramble. You know, would you, pizza crusty? What I would do is I'd fucking flee immediately. Like, logical reaction, get the fuck away from it, dude. Because anytime there's something that's outside of our field of knowledge, you have to remember, if you do not understand what is there, then they probably understand, or it probably understands more about you than you do about it. And that is a terrifying fucking aspect to think about, you know? Right. The unknown is a very, very terrifying experience. But, like, let's just think about it for a second. If a UFO appears over your town and quite literally hovers for 2 years, what would you do? You try to shoot at it, nothing happens. It just keeps hovering. Planes come like to try and strike it, just stays there. I'm just making a scenario that has nothing to do with the ball or anything that's currently there. You know, planes come at it, shoot at it, doesn't move, just quite literally phases through them and stays there. What would you do in that situation? Nanosage, I would get the fuck away as fast as possible. No joke. Like, because first off, the understanding, like how much you understand an object, a scenario, an event, a person, thing, right? For example, how terrifying is it if you were to go on a date, right? Like, Nanosage, let's say you went on a date and your partner's like, oh, yes, like, you start the conversation and you're like, I graduated this year, I had this many friends. And like, they're like, no, you didn't. You had this many friends. No, you didn't. You graduated this year. Uh, no, I'm pretty sure your brothers are this and this, and your family's this, or your siblings are this. Like, I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty fucking sure you'd be like, I think I know my life. I don't know where you got your information. Yeah, no sense. Exactly. And that's the point is like, if even if you're going up against someone that like knows everything about you, but you don't know anything about them, that power differential can eliminate almost everything. It can make it super creepy. It can make it terrifying to even encounter something like that, That's and Shaket, that's the thing is when it comes to unknown phenomenal, unknown, for example, even unknown dating situations like that, you know. And Punjesh, you're 100% correct. Not everyone can move because of something in the sky, but 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 if you have money in the situation or the fact that some nobility may have, why wouldn't you? Why would you stick around? Like, you ever heard the term "fuck around and find out"? Like, this does not strike me as like a good opportunity, unless it's like some weird thing where he can probably get reincarnated back in Earth if he touches it or some weird shit. But I don't know. This does not strike me as that. Like, but yes, actually, good observation. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Pizza crusty. Yeah, they might be responsible for the area, but have you ever heard of I don't know, something like this happening quite recently with the pandemic where people were able to go to their work and maintain relationships and communication while not necessarily being in that area? Because I know it's happened quite recently, like COVID. A lot of people didn't necessarily have to be, even if they were like, CEOs or whatever, in the company or in the vicinity to be able to run the company. And a lot of times that happened in the past, you know. But no, it's actually terrifying. And I would agree with you actually. There's a lot of good opportunities, especially like during the medieval ages and stuff. I think like if you ran away, you'd probably see it like be seen as abandoning the post. But does that necessarily mean that like everyone has to like stay and like govern? I don't know if I'm making sense, you know. Uh, to be honest, I don't know if I'm making sense. It's not a joke. I don't know if this is literally like, if you guys don't know, when I drink, it's literally my mind unfiltered, straight up at any point in time. I just get like letting y'all know in advance, like this is quite literally like me with like no tap. Sure, enemy grills, but that's the point. Is like, for example, what about if you sent away the kids? Doesn't necessarily mean you. Like, say that like, uh, Eris's father stays through like, you know, in town, and then like goes outside of town to visit every so often, so on and so forth. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you don't necessarily have to stay there a majority of the time, and also you can keep shit a secret. You have to remember, when we did our sociological imagination, what was the thing about media and communication? It is all done like very primitive. You probably have to hear about it or town crier, or you probably have to get like posters and whatnot sent out, you know. And do you think the ball is a good thing or a bad thing? I think, honestly, I'd be fucking terrified. That's why I'm bringing up the UFO concept, you know? If something appeared, you know that, like, and you're going to be able to, like, yes, fuck yeah. Are you kidding me? Yes, absolutely. If a, like, think about this in the form of artificial intelligence, right? If you were randomly sitting down, right, and an artificial being, we're going past the point of artificial intelligence and we're going into like post-humanism, an artificial being is actually able to apparate itself right in front of you. How can you trust something that you have not encountered in your surroundings, in your environment, in your growing up, whatever, that is not adapted to your immediate senses, you know? Which is like almost 110%. You can shit cat, right? Like, you know, if a transhumanist, you know, suddenly appeared in front of me with like artificial intelligence and whatnot, and was like, "You have to follow this way. This is the way of the future." I'd be like, fuck you. How can I even trust you? You're not a part of my immediate reality, and the technology that you are is more advanced than the time I am. How do I not know that I'm leading humanity towards my own devastation? And that's the point. Yeah, nanosage. That's exactly the point. Is like, if your technology, for example, if all of a sudden the PS 1000, or like the, you know, all of a sudden you get a super mega computer from like 10,000 years in the future, how would that not, like, at first you might be like, oh yeah, I can understand it. That'd be pretty fucking terrifying, to be honest with you guys. Like, if your knowledge of what like information isn't matched up, kept up at the same time, that's what causes a weird inferiority, or like, you know, weird complexes that happen through, which is the same thing with relationships. Why do you think all the time sometimes we get so accustomed into relationships and stuff like that? You know, if you get into this weird, like, you know, conformity uh in your relationships, and all of a sudden they come through with like, oh no, like I've been doing, like, you know, you're like, yeah, you know, we've been chilling at the same time, and they're like, oh no, I've been doing tennis with the girls, I've been going out with them on Fridays, I've been doing this that. You're like, I never knew that. And all of a sudden, that unknown scenario, that whole thing can spark a lot of unconfidence, a lot of distrust, a lot of scenarios, because that knowledge gap that you thought was there is not there. It's that weird change in the environment that can definitely happen, you know. But that's my whole point, you know. Um, sorry about that, guys. I told you, it gets a little wild from time to time. And please don't think I'm ever attacking you guys. Know that the reason why I get so passionate is because you're hitting on like a correct point that I think a lot of people would probably think about. And so I get really passionate when responding. So please don't think that like I'm directly attacking you or anything in any way, shape, or form. I love y'all. He's not. Oh, 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 my heart's about ready to explode. It doesn't, dude. It doesn't. But my heart is just about ready to explode. He's 9, right? He's about to turn 10. Yeah? Because it's been 2 years. Oh, friends. Oh, my heart. I would hit the desk. I would hit the desk, but like, I don't want to make noise. Oh, that's adorable. I just found that out. I was like, it hit me. I was like, oh, they're probably planning a surprise party or something, like, oh, 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 there we go.
いや、でも嬉しいとは思うわよね。それはもちろん。分家ということで。
No, Blade Dragon, that's exactly why I said that, because, I remembered that from the first couple of episodes where they were talking about how they celebrate things in fives, and he's 9, and so instantly my mind was like, yo, he's about to be 10. Oh my fucking god, he's about to be 10, and oh.
が、なんでもそいつがパウロ以上のクズらしく、水面下で闘志をすげ替えようとする勢力もいるんだとか。
That sucks.
俺にその気がなくとも、能登助の血筋の俺がボレアス家の庇護下にあるとなると、よからぬ勘違いをされる可能性がある。だからエリスのように大々的にパーティーなどできない。それを不憫に思ったんだろう。内々で俺の10。
But it's not just that, dude. Like, yeah, and invalid. That pretty much it. Like, how would that look like? Not just that. Think about the societal expectations out of this kid. Like, it makes me really fucking emotional to think about, like, the expectations and the pressure that is probably being put on. Like, if you were a kid and you were being put through this pressure, how would you react to that? Especially when it comes to, like, sort of like living in the shadows of the expectations that are placed on you. So, like, for example, Paul probably has this weird expectation of Rudius, right? Because we've seen it since the first couple of episodes as to, like, what he can and can't do. And then flip it around, and it's like other people have these weird expectations of him to act and be a certain way, and to, like, not stand out too much or not do too much because of the misunderstandings and other expectations that may come with it. And then top it all off, is he just going to live in the shadow of his father or his family name? And if so, does that not limit what you can and can't do? I also have another weird ass question that I've been thinking about since day one, but I'm a little drunk now, so I think I can talk about it a little bit. Hope you guys don't mind. So when Rudius is isekai'd into this world, right? When Rudy comes into this world, and this might be a little fucking profound, but this is how you know I'm a little fucking toasted, so my mind is going everywhere at once. Did his previous body, officially like out? 2, if he dies in this world. So, like, my immediate thoughts are, like, in regards to this. Right. So that's my point, is, like, right. So if his, and that's sort of where my mind is instantly wandering, like, and sorry guys, you guys don't have to answer if it's spoilers or anything like that. Please don't. Please. Like, I beg you, please don't. But when it comes to this, it's like, if his old body has died and he's already experienced what death is death just the cycle of reincarnation? Like, i.e., just being put back and forth in between, like, different worlds? Or you only get 1 chance or 2 chances? And if so, what is the amount? What are the qualifications for that? And I know this might sound fucking weird, but if I had the opportunity, like, if I was, like, instantly reborn or isekai or some shit like that into another body specifically, I think my mind would wander there a lot. Like, do you live this life in a way that you see like, you see in the sense of, like, if you believe that you're going to get, like, reincarnation again or isekai again, do you live your life, this whole life, thinking that life is sort of a plaything in between point A and point B, that, like, you have to reach all the way to, like, the end boss or whatever, knowing the fact that there might be a chance that you get isekai'd? Or do you enjoy this life to the fullest as to who you are, with the possibility that maybe no, maybe there is no. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't mean to go, like, if you guys weren't ready for that type of conversation in yourself. Don't mean to go that far. Anyway, let's just go ahead and keep going. That was a.
うまく泣く練習をしておかなければ。
Oh no. They're like trying to keep... They're trying to keep him busy, aren't they? Oh, no way. Dude, that's pretty fucking sick. Holy shit. Oh no, dude. Oh no, what a fucking creepy ass smile. Oh hell no. Yeah, it's fine. How many of you guys have ever been with a really muscular individual, guy or girl? Hands up. There is a level, and I will put my hand up for this. There is a level, gentlemen and ladies, where it goes from being a plump, like a good bazinga, a good butt, to it being just a rock. It goes from being like good squats to all of a sudden it's too much. Like it goes from being like, yeah, that's the best way I can put it. Like, just yeah, it's like individuals, you can be properly toned, muscular, and all of that. And then there are those individuals that are like extremely veins popping out, like they're going fucking Super Saiyan and shit. Which, I mean, it's fine either way, whatever your health level is, whatever you prefer. No judgment here. This is scientifically accurate. But, like, I don't know, there are differences that can instantly be seen. They're almost always just built. True. Very true. But no, what I still feel as though, like, he's sort of pushing the envelope a little bit. This is what's scaring me. You guys want me to be 100% honest with you? This is what's scaring me about Rudy S's thoughts. 600 pounds. I challenge you guys. Okay, wait. Before we continue, I challenge you guys, all you Mushoku Tensei fans, and everyone on Discord that will be watching this for YouTube, that will be watching this later. Do it with me. 100 squats a day for... Today is March 7th. So whenever you watch this, 100 squats a day for how much should we go? Like 3 months. Let's do it. So April, May. It's around June. 10 days. 7 years. Dollars for damn. Okay, we could even go less. We'll do 1 month. Yeah. So in April, let me know how your butt goes. If it goes from plump, like, if it's just plump, or if it's like fucking muscular, like extreme muscle or whatever. Yeah, it's the whole purpose of that. It's quite literally just to keep you guys healthy, active, doing some type of exercise if you guys can. But no, let's get that butt, guys. Let's get ready for summer. That's the best way I can put it. But no, realistically, the number one reason why I stopped her was actually because of the way that Rudius is thinking about things. The way that he's actually using certain scenarios to try and manipulate the actions that he wants done. Again, you can try and defend a person's thinking pattern. You can't defend their actions. Very different. Very, 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 very different things. Also, right now, because someone asked me this on a DM yesterday, do I think that Rudy is grooming Eris? No. Or Sophie. Even if that was their thought pattern as whatever was happening, no. You guys have to remember. Oh, you were gonna ask that today? Someone sent me a DM yesterday of just asking those questions. I haven't responded to them, but I hope that if you're in the chat, you know what I'm talking about. 100 squats a day, Munar. 100 squats a day. But no, what I'm specifically referencing is this in particular. When it came to Sophie, we're talking about attachment theory, right? We're talking specifically about two individuals that are kids, first off, right? That are kids that are learning and growing. Granted, Rudy does have a more mature mentality and probably is a lot more aware of his actions. However, you can even say the separation, especially this separation, big distance separation, or even just with time, people grow, change, evolve, adapt, and whatnot. If this was a situation where, even with Roswell, first of all, if we're even going to throw ReZero out under the bus, right? There are people that still don't want to accept that there's a weird fucking power dynamic between Roswell and Ram and a lot of other characters in ReZero because they like to fit these characters, or everyone likes to fit characters into very specific categories, which is fucking weird to think about in the first place, right? Like, people will justify their biased actions based off a psychological word they heard once and be like, oh no, yeah, no, it's definitely this. It's fucking not, dude. Like, please ask a professional, or please ask someone that's actually been able to read the DSM-5 or a psychological manual, especially when it comes to psychological terms, right? Like, we don't want to throw out random terms and not know what they mean. So, when it comes specifically to, like Rudy and Sylphie, for example, a lot of that is child's play, like quite literally play therapy, right? There's always going to be roles in which there's a dominant individual and a subservient individual, and the play can be equal or unequal or so on and so forth. But that is how you learn the rules of play, right? And people might, especially if you're a light novel reader or whatever, you might try and throw out their specific words or specific terminology or whatever that was said, right? That could be a person's thought process, 100%. But you have to remember, time is an ever-changing thing. Has everything ever gone according to plan for you? I'm sure there was a hiccup, or there was a time where you're like, oh shit, I needed to leave at 7, or something stupid where, like, you're in a relationship and all of a sudden, because of time, it evolved, it changes your philosophy, your way of thinking. No one ever just stays constant, especially as kids and growing up. Now, what does the separation do to them? One, I'm pretty sure Rudy probably misses Sylphie, right? Like, that's no way. Like, we can definitely make that automatic, like, logical assumption, right? Like, if you were Rudy, would you miss Sylphie? Yes or no? I would. That was a friend. That was a friend. A very important friend, So, you take that into consideration. So here's the thing, Punyech. You have a lot of adults that say this too. And this is not me trying to justify Rudy's actions, right? This is quite literally me putting it into modern perspective. You have a lot of individuals that get into relationships and they're like, oh yeah, I'll make you into my ideal woman. Does that ever happen? No. Absolutely not. Do you know why? Because that's another completely independent individual that even if you try to control 110%, people will always have their own freedom and logic of thinking, right? And I think that's super important to take into consideration. Manipulators, specifically when it comes to grooming, will mostly take effect on a person is actually more vulnerable and able to understand what is happening. That is why in teenage years, it's probably one of the most hurtful and eventful things that happen to a lot of kids. Granted, grooming can happen from a young age. I'm not taking away the credibility from one of that. There's a lot of sex trafficking and stuff like that does happen. Absolutely. No discrediting, no hiding it, no putting it under a rug or anything like that. But a lot of the grooming that takes place modernly or nowadays or anything like that, you want to be honest with you? A lot of it takes place on, places where you can connect, individuals that are younger than they should be go on. For example, you have a lot of, I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna fucking throw this out there, and I hate if I'm sorry if I hit some feels for some of you or whatever. A lot of people will go on to group gathering sites, like if it's like a bunch of games hanging out together or a bunch of friends hanging out together on like a Discord site, right? Let's be real. There's a lot of weird situations, even with like the Super Smash Bros. Pro players. If you guys know the Super Smash Bros. Community, you guys know what I'm talking about. You have a lot of situations where they go online. People that are under the age use Tinder, so on and so forth. And that type of grooming behavior comes from individuals whose brain has already matured. They've already set forth. They're adults, for a majority of the point, that are trying to bend an individual's will to who they are. However, out of all those situations, what ends up happening usually, a majority of them, you have individuals that are still going through their growing phase. They're starting to find out who they are, what individuality there is, what they like, what they don't like, what culture they're aspiring to, what they're growing as for the future, so on and so forth, that all of a sudden, usually, people lose control in some way, shape, or form. Can nasty shit happen in between there and then? Absolutely. I am not denying that at any point in time. But will a person be able to often outgrow it due to friends, family, environmental, culture, and most importantly, time? Yeah, it can. Most definitely. So I hope that helps with an understanding of that. Now, that's towards Sylphie. If it was towards Eris, you have to remember this is also still like I don't know how to put it, like a developmental time for these kids, right? An environment is valuable. Specifically when with Eris, you have a lot of guardians, a lot of individuals around that are probably, rather protective or rather knowing as to what situations are happening and not happening. So that can be a little bit more difficult so far as to what we've seen. But that's all the way up to now. I hope that makes sense. We're only 5 minutes in, guys. God damn it. Every single time. But yeah.
おめでとう。あ、そっか。僕今日で10歳か。
Oh.
ごめんなさい。僕こんな初めてでここに来てずっと歓迎されてないかもって祝ってもらえるなんて思ってなくて。戦争じゃ。ノートスのところと戦争じゃ。ビレモンをぶっ殺してルーデンスを投手に据えるぞ。抑えて。
Oh. I think my dude. Okay. Let's be real. Let's be real. He probably knew they couldn't make this fucking trip, and he's doing this in order to like purposefully like guilt people. Wait a fucking minute, guys. Holy shit. Rudy might just be fucking smarter than I thought. Rudy is using okay. No, she can't exactly. Oscar level acting, exactly. Is Rudy using this as an opportunity to like essentially bypass Eris, like shoot to her mom or some shit, Like I'm thinking about this, I'm like, wait a minute, this man's a fucking genius right now. Like yeah. I don't think he knew they couldn't come. Bro, what I'm thinking about, first off, Vonyesh, I'm thinking about can they make the travel, right? Considering, they have to bring everything, leave everything there, so on and so forth. And my immediate answer is no, logically thinking, like it'd be pretty fucking difficult, So, and also it'd be pretty obvious if they were coming because it takes days, right? It takes days to get there or hours to get there or however so often. So I think he'd be pretty much aware of that. So why is he doing this? So in case you guys are ever wondering, how is he coming up with these wild ass theories? Ask 5 questions. Who, what, where, why, and how. All the time. It works.
残念です。ルーです。
え、あれ、やべ。こんな空気にするつもりじゃ。ルー
です。あなたはもううちの子よ。
あれ、この人、俺のこと嫌ってたんじゃなかったっけ。
よし。いえ、エリスと結婚しなさい。お母様。エリス、あなたうちのルーデウスに不満でもあるの？ルーデウスはまだ10歳よ。年齢なんて関係ないわ。あなたはもっと女を磨いて。
Wait, I was right, guys. I'm scared. I am scared of myself. I will be right back. I'm fucking terrified of myself. For those of you guys that are in T, they're like, oh, he guessed that right away. Please don't, dude. I had this way too many times in fucking ReZero. I'm literally using logical conclusions and trying to show my work for y'all. Like, trying to show my thought process on stream. I'm fucking drunk right now. Like... like it's the number one thing that like I'm trying to get across is like a lot of this is pretty like logical conclusions that one can go ahead and make. Don't think that I'm using extra magical powers or whatnot. But what I will say is right now, what is fucking terrifying me about this, being 110% honest with you, it's a worst case scenario. I'm gonna be honest with you. Right, because I was gonna say Blade Dragon. You clearly know my fucking work schedule and shit, how crazy it is. But no, when it comes to like the way that he's been like, I don't know how to put it. narcissistic individuals, right? And I'm not labeling Rudius as narcissistic, but I'm just talking about narcissistic individual trends, right? What happens when you're able to accomplish two of your things almost flawlessly? When you're able to, for example, as an actor, if you ever take any form of acting or whatever, you'll often see that the root of any big problem comes from overconfidence in the characters itself, right? So you have a lot of people that tend to like succeed in one thing. So there's a big issue problem, present. So for example, Hamlet. You could dissect this 110 ways, by the way. I'm just going to give you a quick synopsis and interpretation. Uncle kills father, marries mother quite after the death. Hi, Shu. How you doing? But, throughout this whole thing, son is supposed to become the next king. Uncle becomes the next king. Son is looking for revenge. Son ends up acting crazy, which, he acts crazy in order to ascertain a level of, kind of questioning morality, what is good, what is bad, whatever. But in essence, also to set up, the failures or the downfall of the king and queen. So that already sets up Ophelia, right? And then he continues to go on to like sort of kill Polonius, that's Ophelia's father, kill Claudius, Ophelia's brother. Ophelia offs herself. Congratulations, he kind of got out of a marriage. In political terms, it's huge if you ever think about it that way. Then he goes on, mother accidentally offs herself, right? And then he's able to take out the father before he goes away with poison. But it's that constant trend of like trying to move forward because he was so confident in certain things, or because he was questioning the morality of certain things, So why am I mentioning Hamlet and Shakespeare to this? Because characters will always have fucking flaws. Characters that are overconfident in their actions, especially when it comes to big celebratory events like this. He already took down the grandpa. He already took down the mom. Who's next? You watch JoJo? Do you guys know what I'm getting at? Hi, Mr. Awesome. Hope you're doing good. But we haven't watched JoJo like here. But no, my point is, do you guys know who's next? Logically speaking, the grandpa's out of the way. You know that he's probably going to go ahead and give you the most walls resistance or anything. The mom's out of the way. Who's next? Are we getting at... Yes, we're getting at family struggles. No, because the father... You have to remember, Rudius has already made a genuine connection with the father in the previous episode when they're talking about beast people. So the father is pretty much up in arms. Then Eris. Yes, exactly. So this is my number one fear. He literally took down the whole power dynamic or the family dynamics to get to whatever emotional value he wants to give to Eris, or whatever his intentions are, which is what I'm afraid of. I'm going to be 110% honest with you. Because think about it. He did a top-down approach. I'm not sure, dude. I'm just fucking... I'm drunk and I'm just kind of going wild, dude, because I'm seeing the family dynamics. I'm seeing the pressure. And if this were to happen at a birthday party, instantly, like, people getting too attached too quickly or getting emotional responses like this, I would instantly rush to protect Eris at this moment. Sorry, guys. Alright, let me go back to Rian.
で、何です？そのびっくりするものって。アルフォンス、例のもの。はあ、こちらを。
Wait a minute.
この度ルーデウス様のために世界中からありとあらゆる極上の素材を集め、アスラ王国で随一の杖製作士に作らせたもの。
Hold on a second. First off, this is fucking cool. This is really fucking cool. The fact that like they got the finance materials and shit for him. Pretty amazing. Second off, Moonar Dragon. Better not be a tree. Moonar Dragon. Even if he doesn't understand what he's doing, this is this is what I'm talking about when it comes to like logical overshooting, and it's a bad sign. Like the reason why I say this is it's a bad sign because this is where lines get crossed. You have to remember that this is why I keep bringing it up. I brought it up in episode 1. I brought it up as many times as possible. You might have very loving parents. That doesn't mean they're good parents. If your parents never told you about what you can and can't talk about or do, or, you know, where you should draw certain lines with people and when you're taking actions and stuff, you know, yeah, you got to be a little careful with that. Even though he's maybe not knowingly doing it, you have to think about it like this. Is he doing this out of a routine of his like previous thoughts as to how he should proceed? Is he viewing this, like, for example, is Rudy viewing this as a dating game or an NPC video game world where he had like a main objective, like when we played Super Seducer right now, is to get laid? And if that's the case, what he has done just now by taking out the power dynamics, the family dynamics one by one, is very terrifying to think about. And it also makes me think about his future, specifically like how strong. But yes, that's not necessarily the point. Even if he's not after Eris at this point, he is literally establishing himself as being able to penetrate through these walls without, like, I don't know, resistance. Shu, talking about power dynamics, because if a person from another nobility, another faction, another kid comes into a birthday party and instantly, you know, say that you're very guarded by your grandpa, your mom, and like you have a bodyguard and whatnot. Your bodyguard is already won over by this kid. Your grandpa starts crying and starts saying that you should be with this kid. Your mom says that they want to go ahead and adopt this kid and want you to marry him. It's called power dynamics in an instant. Have you guys ever heard of I forgot what it was called. Give me a second. And it's quite literally like Shu, if in case you don't know, it is quite literally tactics. I believe that the tactics are still up for, I believe it was either the Federal Bureau of Investigations when it comes to body language and power dynamics, or if it was the I forgot what it was. It was a special agent training guards in terms of how to overturn any situations, whether it's business or family, right? Informing bonds specifically, you know, because one, yeah, you're already in a downtrended position. How do you put yourself in a more favorable position in a negotiation tactic, in a family tactic, and so on and so forth? Even if he might not necessarily be gunning for Eris at this moment, he is setting himself up for it. And that's the difference. You know, logically speaking, I know some of you guys might not be like, and that's not to be like, oh, I'm Giga Brain or any stupid shit like that. You guys might not necessarily be like viewing the things that I'm viewing right now because of like, you know, sort of the eye that I have versus like, you know, the eye, like you guys might be light novel readers or you guys might be more trained in other areas in life, which is totally fine. No one should ever, you know, castigate you guys in one way or another. But instantly, like if I were like, you know, if say that Eris was my client, right? And like she comes in and she's like, you'll never guess, Rudy actually won over my grandpa and my mom, and they were talking about him and saying like, you know, we should like, you know, defend him and go to him like from one day to another. I would question the fuck out of that dude, like 110%. I hope that makes sense if you're thinking about it in that perspective. Yes, exactly, exactly, Vataj Bardik. That's exactly it. And I just left this on for way too long for that much of a speech. Oh, that's fucked. That's fucked. That's exactly what I thought about. It's more than likely going to be like a weird political dispute, and it's like the old-timey ways where, you know, if you try to rise up against me, I'll kill your kids, and that way, like, you know, so on and so forth. Man, nobles fucking suck. Also, the OST is a banger, but that is fucking sad, dude. And that happened, like, you know, it's a very common negotiation tactic. Like, you know, your kid comes over, you try to rise up, you try to lead a rebellion against me, especially when it comes to secession. Yeah, we have bargaining chip. Terrifying, dude. But then here comes the point. Nobility backstabbed each other a lot in the past. That is very true. Oof. Oh, that would fucking hurt. Vardic, why'd you have to say that? Oh, can you imagine your kids calling the... Oh my gosh. That would fucking, like, destroy you. Yeah, you're going hard, brother. You're going hard on that one. Bro, and you guys, okay. Noble moment. So again, guys, I know, and this is his own family. That's kind of fucked up to think about, Sure, but Blade Dragon, even if it didn't and that's the whole point about time. That's a huge speech that I did in the beginning. Time changes the morality of things, but nowadays, especially in our time, if you think that this is right in our time, you're far off, dude. Like, that's the best way I can put it. Like, if nowadays you think that this is still okay, please have a chat with a counselor or someone that you genuinely believe in. The only reason why I will go ahead and say this is because you have to remember the past is the past for a reason. Time is changing and ever evolving, and with that, our sense of morality, justice, what is right and wrong, right? There's a difference, right? In their time and view, it might be right, taking a historical lens. But in our time of view, if you think that that is right, there's some people that are like, you're using echo chambers to talk, or this is not how a psychologist should behave. No, actually, this is exactly how a psychologist should talk to you. I'm sorry, not everyone's gonna coddle your butt and be like, oh no, it's okay. You can definitely think, this way. If you genuinely believe that this type of treatment to individuals is okay, put yourself in that situation. Would you like to be tied up and, say, thrown into a random person's bed for the night? Because your father or your mother said so. How would you like that? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, Shu, is like power struggles will always happen. Like it or not, sadly. Like, nopers, that would suck. Yep. Like, sadly, power struggles are always going to be a thing of like that are happening because people will always want to have some sort of control. There are also people that use religion for control and, information and knowledge for control as well, which you have to be careful about. Because there's some people, especially teachers, dude. There are some teachers that are like, are you teaching this class or am I? That type of mentality when you're supposed to learn and grow. And it's like one of the biggest things that you can go ahead and take away. This is one of the key power dynamics or power features off of that is the environment that you're in is supposed to be a healthy and learning environment, especially if you're in school, university, college, whatever you may be in. It's supposed to be a learning and healthy environment. If your professor is not being an adequate, allowing that to be a good and healthy environment for you to learn, then it's a weird power dynamic scale that they're trying to impose on you guys. Instantly. That is not okay, and that is something that needs to be addressed and talked about. True. And there's even, I know, because I want to, as I mentioned, I studied abroad and whatnot. There are some people from certain cultures, certain countries, which they were like, they wanted to go ahead and date and experience life and joy and all of these things. When they started dating, their parents would be like, but we've already, you already have an arranged marriage here. And they're like, but I'm my own individual. And that's another power dynamic. And that's where boundaries need to be drawn. That's why boundaries are so important, But yes, there. Okay. So, and again, it comes down to culture and stuff like that. But if randomly, if let's say that you went off to study and all of a sudden your parents are like, yeah, you're marrying this person, even though you have a significant other. They're like, yeah, no, you're marrying this person. How do you draw the line? Where are your boundaries at that point? You know? No, and that's the only reason why I'm bringing it up like that, you know? Because one and the other, it's still a breach of boundaries. It's still not letting you make the decision that you feel is best for yourself. It's other people making that decision for you based off of their interests, based off of what they think is right and wrong, and not based off of the decision that is you, you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Isn't it interesting? Oof, what are we, an Alabama shoe? But no, like, and that's exactly it, you know? Oh, wow. Sorry, guys. Ugh, my eyes. My eyes. All right. And we'll, oh.
こうしてみるとなかなか。
Oh, dude, why are you so creepy about it? Oh my god, really? Mind you trying to go in without warming up? Come on, dude. I'm glad you stopped. I'm glad you stopped. What the fuck did I just watch? I felt like I just watched something out of a fucking hentai for a second there. What the fuck? Ugh. Okay. Oh gosh, I'm putting my glasses back on. Holy shit, dude. You guys want my internal monologue for this? It's quite literally like, I fucking told chat. I fucking knew some weird shit like this was gonna happen. Why? Because you have this, you have this individual who's been clearly, hypersexual, that hasn't been able to draw boundaries or lines or stuff like this, and is unknowingly or even knowingly, it doesn't really matter at this point, been able to take the power dynamics in a certain aspect of the family, right? And been drawn to the conclusion where now the idea of this is partner, this is what partners do, this is what your partner is, you should marry Rudy, like this weird tempo where he's been able to take control, being able to play on certain people's emotions. And like, you put yourself in a scenario like this, right? And it's interesting. Well, number one, it's interesting that he was, and I will point this out there, like, even though he was proceeding, he was also thinking about whether or not he was okay, or like, comfortable with it. She was comfortable with it, even though he was trying to proceed with it, right? The reason why I bring that up is because I straight up wonder if in his previous life he was just a complete virgin, dude. You have to remember, like, I don't really know much. I don't really remember. I just remember that, like, he was kicked out of the house and stuff, but that's the number one thing. Like, it looked creepy, especially his hand movement and stuff like that. But that comes, yeah. But like, this comes off of the expectation. Here's the number one thing, guys, and I hate to point this out. This comes off of the expectation of thinking that porn is reality, right? The way that, like, doing like weird shit with your hands, huffing and puffing and doing weird shit, like, like getting all fucked up about it. If you guys ever can, get educated about sex. Get educated about toys specifically. Get educated about what it means to go through, for example, a warm-up period, or being able to get in the mood, making out, what it means to get, like, the physical phase, the touch phase, so on and so forth. And yes, I do mean this in every single culture. Please get educated in sexology, Granted, and no, I'm not talking about like abstinence is the key bullshit. No, absolutely not. What I'm talking about is, like, learn, for example, what toys are you comfortable with? For example, are you comfortable, with certain toys? Are you comfortable with certain fingers? What do you like? What do you dislike? What are your turn-ons, turn-offs? Are you more sensitive in your neck? Are you more sensitive in your legs? What are the aspects for you that work for you and for your partner? These are conversations that you should be having with your partner, i.e., hey, if we introduce a new toy, a new something into our relationship, into our nighttime routine, How would that work for you? What is a boundary? What is a safe space? What is a safe word for you in that regard? Right? Yeah, exactly. Those first couple of interactions are super duper important to go ahead and do. My dude was like, all right, we kissed, I'm gonna just go for it. Which, first off, it's really weird to even think about the concept, especially considering the age ranges, right? But even with the age ranges present, and the reason why I'm throwing this out there and I'm not making like a complete deal about it, hypersexuality in kids specifically, especially like, I don't even have to go that far. If you're ever in Latin American countries, they start off quite young. I don't gotta lie to you. I don't think a lot of people gotta lie to you. If you've ever been to a Latin American country, I'm really, yeah, yeah. And that's exactly why the boundaries and communication lines and what works and what doesn't work has to be addressed. Has to be exactly, Craig. Exactly. And it has to be talked about in a safe setting. You know, I've heard, even here in the United States, they were trying to do, you know, a lot of sex education, not even like sexology. We're talking about sex education, you know, what are condoms, basic stuff like that, to middle schoolers and high schoolers, and people get up in arms about situations like this, but yet they are not comfortable enough to talk to their kids about what sex is. So put yourself in that perspective, right? Yeah. And that's exactly it, Pizza Krusty. You know, it's like, you know, that's sort of the age, is, you know, when you start experimenting and you start learning new stuff and whatnot. But even with all of that, yeah, even with all of that, it is still important to know about what, like, you know, for example, it is okay to say no. It is okay to set boundaries. It is okay to be like, hey, you know what? I'm not in the mood right now. We'll talk about it later, for guys and girls, because for some reason there's this weird expectation that it's only for females, but males, you know, anytime I see Ed, even if it's sex ed, instantly I look over because I think chat is like trying to say something to me. But like, even males, for example, you have the right and the opportunity to say, hey, I don't feel like doing it today, or hey, why don't we do this instead, you know? So keep that in mind, because it's this weird one-sided thing where it's like, even though it only gets talked about in this one limelight, there's this whole other opportunity and avenue. Well, and that's exactly it. It's, you know, especially if you're under a certain age and you don't know what you're doing, or you don't know, because, you know, what certain things are, or how certain things are, can lead to a lot of damage. Being 100% honest with you, it can lead to a lot of emotional trauma and whatnot. Although this might sound really, really fucked up, but coming from nobility around, like, even going to our times, right, our historical times, Romeo and, for example, Romeo and Juliet, Juliet was you know, she was quite young, right? And Romeo was an old ass dude too. Ain't that fucking terrifying of a thought, you know? And I'm kind of surprised that the nobility hasn't taken in, like, to this regard. Exactly. And there is a lot of weird society, honestly, especially if you're ever asexual or you ever meet people with like different sexual preferences or identities or whatnot. Ask. I think a lot of people that are in the spectrum, in the sexual spectrum, would prefer that you ask, especially if you start dating around and they tell you, hey, you know what, I'm asexual, or I'm pansexual, or so on and so forth, that you ask to understand, then just say, oh yeah, no, I'm fine with it. There's a huge difference, right? Yeah. And I think so far, um, the way that this anime presented it is like, we know in our time that this is bad. Yeah. Like this specific scene. For those of you on YouTube, you probably didn't see anything. You guys probably aren't live with us, so you guys can't see anything. But we know in our times that this is bad, that this is rough, that this is. I'll go into face cam real quick. And Rudy does know this as well. She should know this, especially from his past life. But we're judging him off of this current life. We're not going to bring that dynamic just in yet. You know, but using a cultural lens, you know, if you put yourself back in that scenario, this is going to sound fucking weird, but this is the whole purpose of playing devil's advocate, being able to use your empathetic skills and being able to see two different perspectives. This is going to sound really fucked up, and I know it is, but I'm bringing this up. Back in those days, you had one of two choices, especially if you were part of nobility. You'd either get married to someone that's significantly older than you. Or two, you would somehow find a partner close to your age. You have to remember, power struggles, especially if you were in nobility. If you were single in nobility, what would guarantee that you would be able to maintain political power or situations like this? And back then, shit was weird too, because if you were to go ahead and do it, people would be in the bed watching you do it in some cases in order to verify your purity. So the reason why I throw that out there is because that's the historical lens. Now, let's bring in the fact that he may have, understood what was happening, like Rudy in his, past life and current life. His actions reek of desperation. His actions reek of an individual who has quite literally, not necessarily Chiquette. What I'm talking about, if you're talking about a farmer versus, and this might sound fucked up, versus young females in the Middle Ages or beforehand, yeah, actually. If you're talking about individuality or being able to express your thoughts or emotions, or, for example, not being seen as an object or certain things like that, sadly, yes. And it's a very dark history. If you guys ever look into it, yeah, if you guys are ever into it, just be aware of that, be aware of that. Sorry, I was reading a conversation with Nano Sag really quickly. Back in the old days, sadly, a lot of people of color and people that were different, females and so on and so forth, did not have as many rights as they do today. And that is a very, very sad thing to look at in the past and look at it in the historical context. Yep, even in the good moments, Blade Dragon, exactly. Moonar Dragon, by better, I mean, if you were a male in the medieval times, you could grow your own food, you'd be able to voice your own opinion, you'd be able to do certain things, as opposed to being an individual of color or, a female in those times. A lot of times you could probably get away with murder, like other people murdering, these minority groups or people that were oppressed, because those were the times. And that's the purpose that I'm bringing up. Yeah. But the whole purpose that I'm bringing this up is getting into Rudius today, looking back, it reeks of desperation. It reeks of an individual who longs for connection. It reeks of an individual whose forefront thought was sex instead of attachment. So, if they keep growing this weird relationship up, I feel the worst is yet to come. I feel the worst is yet to come because I've seen this happen a lot in males that are hypersexual. That, for example, get in relationships and all they want to do is keep having sex or have sex in general. Which often leads to infidelity or, ghosting or leaving or them being hurt or so on and so forth, which, granted, it can be justified at times. But it can also lead to a lot of trauma for both sides. It can lead to the trauma of separation. It can lead to the trauma of even issues in bed. It can lead to the trauma of, am I not good enough? What happened? So on and so forth, and that's why boundaries and communications need to happen. But anyway, could lead to cheating on your wife with, actually, true, Paul. If only you could actually communicate. I don't know, set up your boundaries, right? Anyway.
その時まで我慢しなさい。
はは
じゃあ私もう寝るから。じゃあねルーデウス、おやすみ。また明日からよろしく。
It happened. Holy shit, this writer is a genius. It happened again, guys. Laughing, playing, he gets hurt, She comes back. You know, they come back. They kind of make up a little bit. She leaves. The previous episode, a couple episodes ago, I brought this up where like he was chasing her. They were playing, laughing. She hurt him, or they hurt each other. They kind of made up, and then she just disappeared and left because she didn't want to be found because of like, oh no, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Guys, if I've ever had a red fucking flag moment, now's the day. Now's the time for the red fucking flag. Holy shit, guys. If you guys want me to be honest with you. Oh, well, I'm glad that you... No, but quite literally, this is one of the biggest red fucking flags. Because then put it into this perspective, yeah? See that... Shakat, genuinely, yes, this is a red flag. The cycle remains unbroken. And that's my point. That is invalid. You're hitting the nail on the head. That is exactly my point. Cycles don't change unless something big happens. Unless you're actually able to recognize what's happening and you're able to take that change, right? Because you have the pre-contemplative, contemplative, motivational changes. Look up the cycles of change, or the cycles of change in your own time. I'm not going to go into it right now because, big talk. But yeah, we're at 1440 roughly. But when it comes to like specifically, when it comes to this, what is a big, and instantly my mind's fucking firing off like 1,000 neurons. What is a big thing that could cause a cycle of change? I'm thinking of one that was introduced in this episode. This is what I'm saying. I think the author might be really fucking smart. Power dynamics. Yeah. Power dynamics. Instantly. If the power gets dynamics either turn too big or too small between them, what do you guys think will happen? Every single time that there's a weird power dynamic shift, this shit happens, i.e. the closeness of familiar narratives, trying to blur the lines between teacher and, student, i.e. some weird Lolita shit. Or like friend and lover, or so on and so forth. That's a weird power dynamic shift that keeps breaking and breaking and breaking and breaking. So if a big one comes where it's unattainable, where a person may, in your perspective, in your narrative, be unreachable, how bad can that fucking go? Sorry, my brain's going wild, guys. I apologize in advance. This is just I'm letting you guys in firsthand as to my thought process, how my brain works, where it's going 110% of the time, especially since I'm a little fucking toasted at the moment. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, guys. Sylvie's more of the type of individual that will stick through with you through thick and thin, while Eris is more of the type of individual that will probably I hate to put it this way, but like as an adult, please take this into consideration with attachment styles and the things that we've seen so far. Sylvie is more of the individual that will more than likely try and be like caring, like there for you, and see that you're struggling through shit, understand, and try and be very empathetic and loving and whatnot, right? While Eris, on the other hand, off of what we've seen, is probably a lot more of like the hit it and quit it type squad. Like the individuals that are like, oh, I don't understand your thing. I'm gonna solve this through violence. That's not my issue. I'm gonna try and do my own shit, Sorry, guys. I'm quite literally just taking this off of the attachment styles that we've seen so far. And it's true. It is very true. Roxy, honestly, I feel like Roxy can sort of like the perfect balance between all three of them, if that makes sense. Eris wakes up and chooses violence, yeah. Because I feel like Roxy's got shit to do, like the own independent person, but at the same time can be very comforting and loving and be like, hey, I'm just checking up on you. You doing okay? Like, Roxy's probably like, somewhere in the healthier line, if that makes sense. Like, if you were in trouble, I'm pretty sure Roxy would come for you. Like, hey, my car just broke down. I'm pretty sure Roxy would come and be like, hey, what can I help with? You know, Sophie would probably do it too, while Iris would be like, figure that shit out yourself, you know? If that makes sense. I don't know about complete individual, but she's significantly better off, like mentally speaking, emotionally maturity speaking, off than the other two. But that's age as well. Makes sense, right? Anyway. Also, no. Before I go on. Promises. Guys, let me bring this in close, because some of y'all need to fucking hear this. Promises don't mean jack shit, guys. First off, one, if you're in a relationship, don't do ultimatums. They're the worst fucking thing you can do to your partner. That's some weird power dynamic shit that you shouldn't do. And yes, I'm pointing at the camera, and I'm pointing to you individuals that like specifically take this message to heart. And you're probably going to write a weird ass message being like, I hate this guy, and he's totally shitting on my characters and whatnot. I don't give a shit, dude. I'm specifically talking about you trying to develop a healthier relationship with your partners and shit like that. Please do not go into ultimatums. If your partners do that to you, that's a weird ass fucking ultimatum type shit, and that is not healthy. First off. Second off, when it comes to promises, remember how I say this. Times change, people change, ideas change. The only promises that you should keep are ones that you make to yourself. When other people make a promise to you, that should be secondary. Might be a wild ass concept, but the only person that you know can fulfill your needs, your wants, your desires is yourself. Anyone else that promises that they're going to deliver the world to you will always fall short. Do not put people on pedestals, because that's putting too much expectations and shit that will probably break. Do not underplay people. Do not judge people and be sympathetic to them, because that is not fair if you were in their situation as well. Treat their words, as their narrative, but treat your words as something special. Try and keep the promises that you make to yourself to better yourself, because you're the only one that's in control of your words and your actions. So please. Anyway, with that being said, I hope that makes sense. I'm just saying that because being like sex driven the way that he is, saying that weird promise and whatnot, if 5 years were to pass, you guys made a fucking poll about this, girl. What the fuck? If 5 years were to pass, and she doesn't come through with it, how will he react? You know? For the big thing. And just random shit like that. Or if it does come through with it, what changes? What dynamics change? How does it change? Why? And why is there a need to that? If in 5 years you haven't grown past the opportune time for what is sex, there's something wrong. There's something gravely wrong. If in 5 years' time you value sex more than the connection you've made, might be a good time to look in the mirror. You know? Verdict, exactly. All right. Got a bad feeling. Holy shit. Guys. I got a fucking horrible ass feeling. They're not. Vardic, exactly. Guys, they're not just showing us all the, like, everyone that he's met to try and get us to, oh no, what the fuck is gonna happen? My brain is fucking rushing, guys. If you guys can feel my head right now, it's fucking throbbing, guys. My head is fucking throbbing right now. This ain't real, dude. Holy shit. Oh gosh. I have a horrible fucking feeling. No, like, you just, I'm sorry, but as a director, as a viewer, you don't, like, people don't just show you random information, bits of knowledge, without there being a fucking reason for it. Random fucking beast coming attacking shit. Show Sylvie, show the family, when in the previous episodes they haven't shown this shit.
リーリャさんはルディへのお祝い何にするか決めました？はい、私からはこれを。これを？ルーデウス様がとても大切になされていたものです。
Is it the panties? Is it the panties? It's the panties. Instantly, my mind was like, it's probably the panties, isn't it? Yo, this is a weird. Bro, you don't even gotta fucking hide it. Like, I doubt Rudy Foley took that shit with them. Like, instantly, my mind is like, what would be in that box? What could he have left behind? And the only thing that comes into my mind, the only thing that comes into my mind is the holy relic. It was like, oh. Are these Bro, I fucking doubt that, dude. That's already been shown 3 times. Like, the revelation of the story. You know, like, ooh, green hair. Ooh, superb. Ooh. It's some weird fucking narrative shit, probably like La Llorona or some weird fucking urban legend type shit, you know? Granted, probably... Okay, Dark Thug, you want me to be real with you? You want me to be 110% real with you? I'll be real with you. Yes, I'm drunk. But yes, I'll be real with you. I do doubt her. A lot, actually. This might sound fucking weird, but I know I said this in the previous episode. There are moments in the show, like, if you guys want, feel free to watch through it, where her eyes stop glistening. And I know I'm fucking paranoid about this shit, because you guys already know that in ReZero, that's what I tend to watch. Eyes, expression, stuff like that. Simping 6. Thank you for simping. Thank you for following, man. I really appreciate it. But no, like, when it comes specifically to, and yes, great, and shoot, you're kind of right. But when it comes specifically to Seneth, there are moments in the show from the first episode all the way up to now, episode 8, where if you look at her eyes randomly, like, they'll go from shimmering to not shimmering. And it fucking, for some reason, for me, I'm a really big eye, mouth person, whatever. It trips me out, guys. I'll be 100% honest. I don't know if it's just like the animators forgot to like animate the little things in, or if it's done on purpose, or what the fuck is going on. It's like a split second, just like a... And it sort of happens with Subaru as well when certain situations are happening in Emilia and ReZero and stuff like that. Yes, just like Subaru's eyes in the beginning, but it's sort of like a off and on switch. It's weird. It is really fucking weird. And I don't mean to say anything other than that. You know, it's just one of the things that, like, I caught on, or my brain for some reason is like, yo, what's up? I don't know. I get this weird feeling off of her. Like, she might... I don't know, dude. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. I wonder what the narrative is behind the Superds. Like, what is up with that, dude? Like, how did this come to be? Why did this come to be? And how... Because, you know, narratives change, stories change over time. How long is it going to be for the story to change? That's what I'm curious. Bro. That's a get the fuck out of there cloud, dude. What the fuck is that? Dude. Someone has to off this character. I don't say it often, but, like, I don't like him. I'm sorry, dude. Like, the only times I've seen him are his interactions with Roxy so far, and I don't fucking like him. Holy shit. Excuse? I know I just said he looks like a big boss villain type, He's such an oh boy. He looks like the guy who should be the protagonist. Actually, Vortic, you're 100% correct. Like, he does look like, or even like, you know, his kid will be the protagonist in the future, some weird shit like that, you know? He looks like the type of individual that, like, you know, he seems to, exactly. It seems as though, like, he's like the type of individual that's like, oh, fucking dragon, or fucking, like, oh, wyvern, or whatever the fuck that shit is. Cool. What you gonna do, boy? You know, I've gotten better smackdowns from my mama down there than from you. He looks jaded. He looks jaded as fuck. But he doesn't look like a bad guy. Weird enough. Jaded Mahmoud. If you guys don't know, that's from Super Seducer, one of the quests we completed today on Twitch. But that's for people on YouTube, Twitch audiences. But no, he does look like, I don't know, it looks like he's been through a lot. He's been through quite a bit, if that makes sense. Oh no. Oh, don't you fucking dare. Holy shit, my brain just put it together. Is it a weird activation ship for that weird orb? A bunch of mana is gathering, right? Dude, if it's in the same region, or unless there's multiple fucking orbs around the world, bro, holy fucking shit. Hi, Geek Me. How you doing? But no, like, quite literally, if there's multiple orbs around the world, my theory is completely dispelled. But if there's only one at the moment, one that we've seen at least, I am beyond fucking curious. My mind is... What do you mean, what orb? Are they summoning someone or something? Wait a fucking minute, dude. Are they summoning someone or something to us? Or are they summoning something or someone away? Or some things or someone, right? Because we don't fucking... Who has... What? Oh. I'll be honest with you, Dark Dog. That looks like a person that's a fucking manipulator. I am not gonna lie for you. Someone in a position of power in a fucking floating castle in the fucking sky like that, like the floating island looking thing, I will question the shit out of it. I don't give a shit if people think that, oh, this person is amazing. If you're in a castle in the sky or some weird fucking palace in the sky, I am sorry, but I will question you. I don't give a shit. No, but legitimately, is something being summoned to us? Or are we being summoned to something? Castle Boy is questionable, indeed. I don't know, man. My mind is fucking... My mind is going fucking wild right now. Wait, she has a weird fucking eye. What the fuck? What the fuck? I thought you were blind. Okay, Mr. Kitty. Mr. Kitty. Lord Perugius. Okay, I'm sorry, I will not remember Perugius. Lord Pegasus. Alright, I gotta remember from Yu-Gi-Oh! Got it. I don't trust any name, dude. I'm sorry, I don't trust anyone with the name Perugius, Pegasus Kun, whatever his name is, dude. Fuck, instantly. Any name with the P, like, I immediately, like... Also, what the fuck? Oh, my dude moved at fucking light speed. My dude moved at light speed. Oh no. Bro, you gotta hold on to it. Oh fuck, at least. What the fuck? If in the chat, boys, how long do you episode 8 you call a prologue is over? Fuck, that was a prologue? No, Dark Thug. I fucking doubt they're both dead. That'd be fucking weird for the story to just end randomly there when, you know. Well, it's over. Islam. He's done. Yeah, dude, I'm fucking done. What the fuck? Dude, what the fuck? Okay. Well, so much to unpack there. First off, relationship dynamics wise. Say for some reason they make it out alive, for some magical fucking reason, but everyone else is dead. What happens? What do you guys think will happen? Immediate, some weird, subservient to, like, servant to master, weird power dynamics at play. Because do you guys think, for example, if for some reason both of them make it out alive, I'm not even talking about Ghislaine at this moment, but if both of them make it out alive, do you think Eris could survive by herself at this point in time? No, I'm not talking about repopulation or anything like that. No. Because you guys have to remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? We don't even hit that basic, the second even fucking step right now. If everyone around you, everything got destroyed, but let's say Eris and Rudy, for some reason they make it out alive. I don't know. He made an underground bunker, some weird fucking plot armor shit. Would Eris be able to defend herself or make a life for herself or be okay with not having anyone or anything done for her? Could she do it? As of this moment in time, I will tell you no. We've done the Radzar test yesterday. We've done, sort of attachment questionnaires and attachment shit. At this point in time, there's way too much dependency and way too much power dynamics, which is why this is scary. And why this should fucking terrify you. Granted, you might be like, oh, but they don't, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Say that, the next couple of episodes are them trying to start life back together or find who's still alive or some weird shit like that. You guys tell me who's in a power over and a power under position. I can. And I can tell you how bad this can go. Immediately. So either Eris is going to have to learn how to assimilate themselves because of the means and the environment to try and not be as dependent on others and be more normal, or this is a big fat or, Rudy is going to try and take the mantle of protector and put too much on himself and maybe even build the power dynamic that they already have into a weirder power dynamic and unknowingly push Eris away. You have two big choices, two big situations. And this is me taking Ghislaine out of the picture. This is quite literally me just being like, for some reason, Rudy got plot armor and he saves Eris. That's my I don't know what the fuck happens, guys. I'm doing this hand by hand, episode by episode. But this is rough. And also, Rudy knows 3 languages. So he's able to at least talk to people and have an understanding. Shit like that. What the fuck does Eris know? Dude. She knows math and how to read. Yes, but in the way of the sword, but not everything requires a sword. Sometimes you require diplomacy, and that's a big fucking step. And that's also a huge step for misunderstandings, you know? The more I'm processing this, the wilder it fucking gets, dude. I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like, oh, he knows four. Well, even knowing four languages. Okay, imagine this, Punyesh. Tomorrow, and I'm gonna go into like catastrophic event, right? I'm gonna drop you off in a random country of my choice, right? I'm going into that catastrophic level for social stratification and language stratification, but you only know one language. Say that I dropped you off in like um, Chile or Argentina. Would you be able to survive if you only knew one language? That might be a little difficult, you know, or so on and so forth. We will teach them our peaceful ways by force. So it is such a clusterfuck in my mind right now because I don't know where this is gonna go, but I know that there's gonna be huge fucking developments for whoever is able to come out of this, you know, and wherever this might eventually end up going or how that might be. All right, Lunar Dragons, have a great night. But my point being is like it's such a stressful environment, such a rough situation, such a yeah, the stories have shifted, power dynamics have shifted, and not just that, like family dynamics completely shift. If you think about it now. I hope you guys are hanging on. You guys holding on okay? You guys doing okay? Yes, Punyesh, but sadly, I don't think that we're at the end of a turning point, weirdly enough. I will, for example, I think we're in a narrative turning point, yes. But complete character turning point, I don't think we'll see that unless we see, for example, either I don't know, Eris and Rudy that like, you know, Eris finally coming to terms with themselves and approaching Rudy for who they are, like genuinely like person to person, no weird power dynamics, or specifically for them two, a weird fracture. Because then you get to see a person grow as an individual as to who they are without having anyone or anything around them. Now that is a turning point I want to see. But yes, if you guys haven't joined our Discord, please feel free to join our Discord. I am still not done, by the way. In case you guys are like, huh, I wonder if he's done. No, I'm still not done with Mushoku Tensei. As always, this is a very short stream. It always tends to be very short, as you guys are well aware. Oh. No, we don't have fucking two hours. All right, you guys ready for this? How do I hide this correctly? We don't need to hide it. We can just go ahead and go into it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do 2 tests for Rudy. Oh, no. We're going to do 2 big tests for Rudy. The first one's going to be a hypersexuality. This is actually a sex addiction test, which tells you if you're normal, hyper. I want you guys to give me the answers in response like Rudy would. There's only a couple answers, by the way. Oh, God. I have to enter my email. I guess I'll enter that secretly. Okay, number 1. Does your preoccupation with sex interfere with life responsibilities or relationship? Is sex at the forefront of his mind? Yes or no? Do you think that, like... I know, it's a gaming web browser. Do you think... Yes, Rudy at his current age. We're treating this as an adult, you know. Okay. Do you think that he would give up important social, occupational, or recreational events because he'd rather be focused on planning or thinking about sex, getting aphrodisiacs, sex toys, or other things? Yes or no? This is question 2. Nodders. Question 3. Do you think that he would engage in sexual behavior that would probably put his health or safety at risk? I mean, he was kind of caught up in a political matter if he did go ahead and do shit with Eris this episode, right? So I think that's a yes. Hi, Punyesh. When would you like to? Okay, when you would like to feel emotionally connected to a romantic partner, do you have trouble doing so? I.e., do you think sex is the forefront and of the mind before the emotional connection, or is it physicality first, then emotions, or what comes first? Clearly, so he's putting his dick into it. Yeah, essentially is what I'm hearing. Yep. Okay. Do you think it's difficult to stop sexual acts when there are negative consequences? That feels more like a Paul question, if I'm honest with you. So, does Rudy think that it's difficult to stop sexual behaviors even when there are negative consequences? Well, with this personally, I think we've seen it, especially with boundaries. You know, talk about sexual behavior, passing boundaries and shit. You know, I think we've seen it. So I'm gonna put yes. Not sure if you guys agree with me. You guys can take this on your own. This is just quite literally a sex addiction test on psychom.net. Has Rudy made repeated unsuccessful attempts to stop thinking about or engaging in sexual behavior? I mean, unsuccessful attempts. He's always thinking about sex. Whether that's sniffing, you guys agree or not? Like sniffing panties or, you know, crossing boundaries or even trying to put a finger, or like touch someone's thigh and some shit like that. Ooh, okay. Do you think that Rudy feels ashamed of or hides his sexual behaviors or fantasies from those that are important to him? Do you think that he hides them? No. Okay, he doesn't feel ashamed. Oh, he hides the holy relic. So yes, yes or no? Okay, he hides a lot of stuff. Okay, so then yes. Does Rudy need a greater variety or frequency of sexual stuff in order to receive the same excitement? Yes or no? But this isn't just about being a pervert. Like this is far from it, Shu. So do you think he needs a greater variety of stuff or frequencies? Okay, so we can put no if it's unclear. It's okay. If it's unclear, we can put no. That's not an issue. So we'll put no as that's unclear. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got him. No, it shows that like for Rudy specifically off of the questions that we've answered, it's definitely pushing towards a strong sexual addiction or strong sexual forefront, and that's an easy victory, an easy clap, easy everything. Um, and it's important that you guys know that we do this so that if other people want to go ahead and do it, I'm giving you guys the fucking resources so you guys can try and understand your characters a little bit better. Last but not least, we did this yesterday. We did this the other day. We're going to do this for Rudy because it's important. Because I'm fucking curious. And we're going to do it quick. This is called the RADS R test. We're going to be testing to see if there are some autistic traits in Rudy. So for now, we're only going to go with A and D just because I don't know if we get to see Rudy as an adult or in his older life. So we're just going to go with true or false. You guys can fill this in at your own time. This is called from embraceautism.com. It's a RADS R test. It's, a lot of people use it in order to go ahead and um, see if there are any traits of autism or like spectrum traits. There you go. So and you guys can follow along from there. Well, we'll make a case study of him later on. This is just RADS R. I am a sympathetic person. True or false? You have to remember, there's a difference between sympathy and empathy. You'd say yes? Okay, he's a sympathetic person. He often uses words or phrases from movies and televisions in conversation. He often... Rudy, autism confirmed. No, okay, so for this one, we can go ahead and say he often uses phrases, words, even anime, stuff like that. Hard yes. Okay, true now when I was young. He's often surprised when others tell him he has been rude. True or false? Like when people tell him that he's crossed the line, he's kind of surprised. We've seen that happen. When he crossed the line with Sylphie, he was kind of fucking surprised. Yeah. But sometimes he talks too loudly or too soft and he's not aware of it. True or false? Trying to go false. Is he shy? Oh, what the oh no, it took me out. ¿Por qué? Okay, let me quickly go back. I got it. I know. Yes, sympathetic. True. Sometimes I talk too loudly or soft and I'm not aware of it. Does he know how to act in social situations? By the way, in case I don't answer everything correctly, feel free to go ahead and do this on your own since you guys have more information. You guys can go ahead and see sort of the... He often doesn't know how to act in social situations. I think so. I think often the manipulative tactics come from an unknowing of how to act, if that makes sense. At least from what I've understood so far. Good night, Pizza Krusty. I'll catch you later, man. Stay safe. Number 6, I can put myself in other people's shoes. True or false? Do you think that he can really do that, or do you think he's just like, whatever. They're NPCs, I guess. True or false? False. Okay. I have a hard time figuring out what some phrases mean, like you're the apple of my eye. Exactly. He has a hard time figuring out what phrases mean. True or false? I think he knows what phrases mean, right? Oh, you'd say yes. He does have a hard time figuring out what those phrases mean. Oh, vice versa. Okay, got you. I only talk to people who share my special interests. True or false? With this one, we can say learning magic, teaching magic. Employment doesn't work. So, by the way, if you're employed somewhere, that's still technically a special interest because that's people that you have to work with. We're talking about you know, true. We haven't seen many people that he interacts with. But with Sophie, for example, where did that interaction come from? And what was that special interest that was shared? Magic, right? Yeah. I focus on the details rather than the overall idea. I mean, I think that's true. I think he does focus a lot on the details because he figured out how to make magic without anything. You know? By the way, these are my responses to the character, just so that I can go ahead and quickly go through this. Always notice how food feels that we never notice. I miss my best friends or family when we were apart for a long time. What about this one, guys? True or false? I guess you can say true because of the what happened this episode, right? Sometimes I offend others by saying what I'm thinking, even if I don't mean. I mean, yeah. With this one, offending others, yeah. Yeah. But even in just acting, oof, I only like to think and talk about a few things that interest me. True. I'd rather go out and eat in a restaurant with myself than with someone I know. I don't know this one. You guys make a pick on this one. By the way, these are my answers to Rudy from what I've seen so far. You guys can go ahead and make your own. Yeah, but still, even saying that, that's where it's like true or false. We're just going with true. Like, at least I am. Yeah, I don't think he'd mind a date. 14D. I cannot imagine what it would be like to be someone else. I mean, he got isekai'd, but I don't think that he can, like, he literally puts himself in other people's shoes. I think he's seeing them as, like, characters of a video game or some shit like that, but not necessarily putting, like, being empathetic about it, you know? I have been told that I am clumsy or uncoordinated. I don't think so. I mean, when it comes to using the sword, maybe, right? But aside from that, I don't think that that's a really big thing, you know? Others consider me odd or different, definitely. Definitely. Others do consider him differently. I understand when friends need to be comforted. No. And the reason why I say this is because he understands when people are sad, but he doesn't understand how to comfort. Big difference between knowing that someone needs to comfort, like needs comfort, and knowing and understanding when or what they need to be comforted in, you know? Huge difference. I am very sensitive by the way that my clothes feel when I touch them. I don't know that. That's not true. I like to copy the way I like to copy the way certain people speak and act. True, but Vardic, is that really coming from him, or is that coming from the words of someone else? I.e., this cute girl is sad. I am using visual novel lines to try and comfort because it worked in visual novel and cute girl. Versus, hey, you know what? It really sucks that you're being there. Let me empathize with you in the moment. Huge difference. Yeah. I like to copy the way that certain people speak and act. True, he learned multiple language. He learned how to do the bow and stuff from the noble people. It can be very intimidating for me to talk to more than one people at the same time. I don't know. He kind of gave a speech in front of others. I don't know what you guys think about 21. I'll take your guys' opinion on this. Yeah, exactly. I don't think so. 22, I have to act normal to please others and make them like me. True. Fucking true, guys. Don't try and fight me on that one. You guys fucking know it's true. For 22. uh, 23, meeting new people is usually easy for me. I don't know if it's going to be easy for him. I feel like a lot of people are going to be kind of like worried off because of his awkwardness. If you were to meet them. So, yeah, 23, I'd go with D. At 24, I get highly confused when someone interrupts me when I am talking about something I am very interested in. No, B, I think. Yeah, I don't know about this one. 25, it is difficult for me to understand how other people are feeling when we are talking. True or false? I think he understands how people feel, or he knows how people feel, he just doesn't understand. So I think that's an empathy one. Or I know that you're feeling sad, but I can't understand how that sadness is. You know? Big difference. Big difference. I like having conversation with several people, for instance, around a dinner. Yeah, around dinner. I think he likes having conversations. I think that's fine. I take things too literally. I often miss what people are trying to say. What do you guys think about that one for 27? True or false? I take things too literally. Oh, 27D. Okay, damn. Some of you are AD. It is very difficult for me to understand when someone is embarrassed or jealous. Fucking true, dude. Uh, you again, difference between understanding and knowing. Big difference. You can know when someone is embarrassed or jealous, but it doesn't mean that you understand why they're embarrassed or jealous. Doesn't mean you empathize with them, you know? But 29, some ordinary, and exactly, like, if he truly understood why Eris was, like, understood why she was embarrassed or jealous, he wouldn't have continued down the path that he did. You would have taken things slow as opposed to rushing in. Big difference. 29, ordinary textures. I don't know about textures or what he gets upset about. I get extremely upset when the way I like to do things is suddenly changed. False, right? Guys? Because technically the teacher came in and wanted that time like instantly for the dance classes and he was okay with it, right? Like he was just totally okay with the whole new change. He was also yeah, and he was okay with like the big changes. I have never wanted or needed to have what people call an intimate relationship. Ooh, this is interesting. Do you think that he genuinely wants an intimate relationship or do you think he just wants a physical relationship? That's an interesting question. I don't think he understands what an intimate relationship is, to be honest with you. I think he understands the physicality of sex, but not really the emotional attachment of what sex is. You know? That's where I'm a little confused on this one as to how I would answer. Again, if you guys know more about this, you guys know the character more, you guys can answer this. I think he's afraid it could be, but I'm gonna go ahead and just say true because at the moment, I don't think he wants or needs an intimate relationship. I think he's looking for the physicality of a relationship. Sure, but I mean, if that was the case, right? Yeah, but I'm gonna go with A off of again, this is like my analysis on Rudy as of this moment. I don't think he understands the difference, especially like we're talking about an intimate relationship versus a physical relationship. Okay, Punyesh, but that relationship that he has with Roxy, the moment, is it driven due to him thinking that like she's really really hot, weird power dynamic with the master servant, or is it driven because hey, you know what? I would really like to get to know this individual down to the bot, like who they are as an individual and what they stand for. He's keeping her panties. you know, he has something physical, but that's even respecting is not like for example, if you respect your teacher, right, that doesn't mean you have an intimate relationship with them. Have it like if you respect your teacher and you find them hot, that's a physical relationship, especially if you're like having their panties and shit. Like, but if we're talking about like I don't know, because he's crossed the line with Sophia and with others. But again, this is my assessment. You guys can make your own. This doesn't change the score that much. Trust me. Is it difficult for me to start and stop a conversation? I need to keep it never true. Does he speak with the normal rhythm? Same sound. We don't know about that. The phrase "I've got you under my skin" makes me uncomfortable. I feel like that would annoy him. Yeah. Like if someone were to tell him, "I've got you under my skin," like I feel like that would probably annoy the shit out of him. It's a weird question. So, for example, let's change it. Let's change the metaphor here. I've got Roxy's underwear under my pillow. Would that annoy him? Would that trigger him? Yes or no? Something like that. It's like, would a phrase or a metaphor trigger him? Probably. I think so. That would be a yes. Because that's blasphemy. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I don't know about that. I don't think he's understanding. I think he's a knowing type of person. What do you guys think? Is he an understanding type of person, or is he just like, I think he's a knowing type of person. Like, he knows emotions, he knows video games, but that doesn't mean he empathizes with them. Yeah, and that's my point. Is he can know stuff, and by understanding in this psychological sense, they're talking about empathy. Because that's sort of what they're leaning for. It's a big difference between understanding and sympathetic. But again, Dark Thug, was he being empathetic, or was he using skills that, like, from the novels that he's read and stuff? What do y'all think? Can he truly put himself in the shoes of other people, realistically? Or is he seeing them as characters or pawns? Huge difference. I don't think he cared. Yeah, exactly. I don't think he cared about how they were feeling. He was more looking at it like an equation the entire time. So I'm gonna go with never true. Being 100% honest with you, just based off of that, or not true. It's we're going with true or false. I think sometimes just remember the wording on this is a little weird. Yeah, he was a lot more calculating. Rudius does not connect with characters in movies and cannot feel what they feel. I feel like he probably does, right? Like with like anime and shit, or like the manga or whatever that he was reading, he could probably connect with them. What do you guys think? Probably, especially if he was reading on Ohana, that probably like made him cry. I'd say no, since he feels like he's in an anime. I mean, yeah, could be. I cannot tell when someone's flirting with me. How to answer this? What do you guys think? Okay, with this one, yes. I mean, with the Eris in this episode, could he could he immediately tell that like she was flirting with him or being there for him? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, exactly. By the way, for that one, I answered true. I can see things in my mind and exact details, and the things that I'm interested in. He remembered the fucking moles. Of course, he's gonna remember exact details. I keep a list of things that interest me, even when they have no practical use. Panties, um, what else? Dolls, or clay dolls, shit like that. True. When I feel overwhelmed by my senses, does he isolate himself and shut down? So I think he would. I think like if he's ever overwhelmed or to the point where he doesn't truly understand something, he's probably gonna isolate himself and shut down and shit like that. I think so. He likes to talk things over with his friends. Yeah. Does he like to talk things over with his friends? I mean, I don't think so. I cannot tell if someone's interested or bored in what I'm saying. I think he can tell. Like, I think he can actually tell when people are bored or not paying attention because he picks up on areas not paying attention in his classes. It can be very hard for to read someone's face hand about when they're talking. Not true because he's able to pick up on errors. The same thing. Not true. I feel very comfortable dating or being in social situations with others. Not true because he doesn't know what dating is. And being in social situations, it feels as though he's reading it out of a book, right? So that's what I'm basing myself off of. I feel like if he started dating Eris, it would be a whole new fucking world of uncomfortability of trying to learn what the basics are, and he's following sort of a script. That's sort of how I would feel it'd be, you know? Again, you guys can go ahead and share if it's true only now, true when he was younger, true when he's adult. What is up, Moist Master? What a word to say. He tries to be helpful when other people tell them their personal problems. What do you guys think? We're almost there, guys. We're pushing through it. Okay, I have been told that I have an unusual voice. I don't think so. Sometimes a thought or object that I have to talk about it, even if no one's interested in it. I do certain things with my hands over and over. I haven't seen that. I have never been interested in what most people I. True, I guess. Technically, I think yes. You see it from Rudy. 50, no. There we go. Never true. Two, I've been interested in what most people I know consider interesting. True. I feel like most people his age, he's yeah, his well, when it comes to magic specifically, you have to remember you have to put it into like his age realm, you know. Are most people in his age doing what he's doing right now? Probably not. He's probably way advanced in that. I am considered a compassionate type of person. True or false? Is Rudy a compassionate type of person? Nah. Moist Master. I get along with other people by following a specific set of rules. Yep, that is very true. He sticks to the script so far. It is very difficult for me to work and function in groups. I mean, he's working with Ghislaine and with the other teachers pretty well so far, so I don't think that that's a big thing. When I am talking to someone, it is hard to change the subject if another person that I don't think so. Sometimes I can have to cover my ears. No, I can chat and make small talk with people. Yes, 55D. Yeah, I put D for 55. 59. Sometimes things are not never true. When talking to someone, I have a hard telling when it's my turn to talk or to listen. Hmm. I think that's true. Kinda true. When talking to someone, I have a hard time telling when it is my turn to talk or to listen. Oh, that's cool, Moist Master. We're going episode by episode. We're in episode 8. We just finished episode 8, so that's what we're basing ourselves off. But cool, dude. Holy shit. A D? Never true? 60D. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I like things to be exactly the same day. That's not true. How to make friends and socialize is still a mystery to him. I think so. I think genuinely how to make friends and whatnot, he's come to it by the conclusions of like what friendship is, but like not necessarily like he doesn't know. Like it's probably still a mystery to him. Let's be real. Let's be real. It probably just happens by occurrences and not really him being like, I'm gonna go out there and say hi and talk to this person. It's like, hey, we became friends out of the situation, you know. It calms me to spin around. No. The phrase "he wears his heart on his sleeve" does not make sense to me. Ooh, guys, 66. All right. I need you guys to get 68 for me. Ooh, okay. 68 is A? Okay. 69. I like to be by myself as much as I can. We're 10 away, guys. We're 10 away. 69 is A. Oh, it's true. Library. Shit like that, yeah? 70. I keep my thoughts stacked in memories like they're on filing cards. I pick one out the ones I need to look at. He thinks about essentially what this question is asking about is, does he think about situations in unique ways? Does he keep his memories or like the way that he does certain things or like do new actions in like new ways? Yes or no? I think he does, especially when it comes with like coming up with magic and stuff. Yeah, for his like he's probably a revolutionary first time. I enjoy spending time and talking with my friends and family. I think so. I think he probably does. I can't tolerate things I dislike. I think he likes being held or hugged, especially by heirs. We're not going to go that far. When I go somewhere, I have to follow a similar route, or I can get very confused. Don't think so. It is very difficult to figure out what other people expect of me. I like to have close friends. I mean, does he? 76A. 77. I like to have close friends. Yes or no? Or 78. Yeah. 77, 78. We're close, guys. I already answered the other ones. Yeah, that's why. Great, thank you. That is exactly why I put never true for close friends, because it's always been making friends out of you know, environment. Yeah, Dark Doug. The friends that he has made has been out of convenience, you know. Can you guys tell me friends that he's made that are his, first off, his gender and his age? There's a difference between making friends out of a general, like genuine connection and making them out of an expectation. Huge difference. Or situational. Yeah. Big difference. I.e., if, for example, if you really like a girl and you become friends with them, right? They get a boyfriend and like you start separating yourself from her. Were they really your friend to begin with, or were you just there just so that if there was an opportunity, you could go in? True. Same question I'll bring up to you. If Sylphie found another boy that she was spending all of her her time with, do you think that he would still be there for her in that situation, or would he start to distance himself because all of a sudden it's not convenient? Big difference between close friends, right? Between friendships out of environmental and friendships out of being there. I think he'd distance himself. Where he is right now, I think he'd distance himself 100%. Yeah, and just how few friends yeah, and that's exactly it. Because he has this weird, you guys have to remember, he has this weird control, like power dynamic stuff that's going on. Okay, 78. People tell him that he gives too much detail. True, but that's not a friend. It's still not like a close friend. Big difference. Like you can care for someone and it could still sting, but at the end of the day, what was the implications for your friendship that started off in the first place? You know? So 78. People tell me I give too much detail. By the way, you guys can make this for your own, especially if you're light novel readers or whatever, and put in the information that you guys want and get your own results. 78 is A. All right, time to score. 111. All right, guys. I guess yeah, this actually does push it. In case you guys don't know, while Eris might have definitely pushed the boundaries a lot more in terms of the autistic traits, Rudy, that Moist Master, even with that original thought, what did he do that crossed that line immediately? You know, if you're talking about like, even if your expectation was with the boy or with whatever, right, there was still a lot of sexual tension inside of the discussions that they were having and a lot of weird power dynamics. He crossed the line specifically, even like, in the anime specifically, by talking about how beautiful he is and like, oh, if he was a girl, it's all this weird sexual implications inside of it. And there was also a subservient power dynamic that was being brewed off of that. That friendship wasn't born out of a genuine connection. That friendship was born out of trying to stop someone from bullying, correct? Yeah. So stopping someone from being bullied is like, automatically you start getting the savior complex, you start getting like, a weird power dynamic off of that. And that's the thing is when you make a friendship, it should be on equal grounds, not a weird power dynamic, not a weird power scale, where all of a sudden, and this is probably why Paul tried to break them up and stuff because of that weird power dynamic that was set forth, including boundary crossing when he decided to go ahead and like, even though Sylphie was like, no, don't do it, lower like the trousers and stuff. So that's sort of where it's at. But anyway, what does my score mean? All scores of 65 or higher indicate autistic traits. Rudy, social relatedness. But yes, it doesn't have to be the main factor, but it is how the relationship was formed. For example, if you started dating your teacher, even years down the line, guess what? It's still fucked up power dynamic. Like, even if it's not the main driving force of the relationship, the way that the relationship was born, was created out of, that is how it matters. Oh, I don't know why he did that, dude. To be honest with you, I thought it was kind of laying moist. 100%. I don't think Paul should have separated them at all. It's just kids, dude, at that age, you know? But yes, he scored a 111, social relatedness specifically. Um, so he is scoring, you know, the strong indications of autism, even here. So he's right in the mean, right in that area. Um, if that's the best way, if that's the best way to put it. Essentially, what this ends up pointing out is that for Rudy specifically, he does tend to have a little bit of like traits of like awkwardness or being on the spectrum when it comes to being in social situations, being able to relate to others, being empathetic, not treating other people like video game characters, going into a weird third person, first person perspective, I guess, and so on and so forth. Hope this makes sense as well. And no, this does not mean every single character will fall like above the Radzar. I assure you there are other characters that will quite literally be quite low. For example, Rudy did not score any like big traits in language, sensory motor, or some circumscribed interest. Almost fucked that one up. Only in the social related scale. So like you can have social anxiety, or maybe he just sucks in that social sense. Knowing like the social guidelines, what boundaries are, and stuff like that. But anyway, with that being said, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. I know that's another long one. When it's empty, it's always a fucking long one, apparently. But I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed it on YouTube and here. If you're on YouTube, hit like, comment, subscribe. I don't know what else to say other than like I hope you guys take something away from it. Yeah, drink water and we'll talk to you guys next time on YouTube. Anyway, here on Twitch, how are you guys doing? You guys doing okay?